Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Today is June 19, 2023, and it is 1:26 p.m. here in Dallas. My name is Kakombe Funga Mukaba. If you work with me, you've known me as Kakombe, and if you've met me outside of work, you've known me as Stéphane Funga. Thank you for listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube. This is the journey. The journey is my story from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where I was born in 1969, to where I am in Dallas today, Dallas, USA, in 2023. But a lot of you are waiting or wanted to hear my professional journey, my story, how I got into IT in 1989 to where I am today. But as I was preparing to share my story, I felt like if I give you my story from 1989, where I started learning and using computers, today, by the time I finish sharing that story, you might have questions. But because I don't like doing things half, I felt like if I am going to share my story, and then I needed to share it from the beginning. How it started and where we are today. So my name is Kakombe Funga Mukaba. Kakombe on the professional side, and Stéphane Funga if you've met me casually somewhere. And this is my story. This is episode 1. I'm recording this video in Dallas, Texas, where I am. And today is June 19, 2023. And it is 1:30 p.m. here in Dallas. But as I was thinking about my story, I felt like I could not share my story without sharing my dad's story. Because my dad's story, it is actually my story, but just lived in 2 different times by 2 different men with 2 different ending or outcome. So allow me to speak about my parent, my family first in this episode 1. But as you'll be listening to me or watching me from YouTube, I suggest that you connect to my website. You can reach my website as kakombe.com or stephanefunga.com. You'll land in the same website. And under the section photos, you'll be able to see pictures. My dad, my family, myself, as I move from the DR Congo to where I am today in the United States. Because it's the same content that I'll be sharing on YouTube and also as a podcast. All the images are going to be available on my website. So thank you so much. And if this is the first time that you're connecting with me, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Stéphane Funga, and share. Thank you again. And this is how we start. My dad's name was Andre Funga Mukaba. He was born in Eastern Congo. And at some point in his life, he decided that he needed to serve his country. So he left the Eastern Congo in Goma, Ruchuru, where he was born, and went to Kananga. Back then it was called Luluabourg, when Congo was still Belgium Congo. And he decided to enroll for the Congo-Belgium army. This was before the independence of Congo or Zaire. So when he went there, when the soldiers were being enrolled in the army, they asked my dad, "What is your name?" Somehow, I don't know if he thought about this or something which came to him at that moment. He actually never shared that. He decided to change his name right there. Instead of giving the name that his dad gave him, he enrolled himself and changed his name right there. He said, "My name is Funga Mukaba." Funga Mukaba in Swahili means fasten your belt. It's actually funny for people that speak Swahili. Every time they hear that name, people just smile, people laugh. Because how can you call yourself Funga Mukaba? So they asked my dad, "Why did you call yourself Funga Mukaba?" He said, "That's the only way I think I'll be able to go through this journey," meaning his journey as a military man in the Belgium Congo at that time. Because my dad was a peaceful man. He's a man who could not even watch a chicken being slaughtered. So how can such men decide to go to the army? And how would he survive there, where you had to learn about war and how to use arms to defend your country? So he enrolled in the army. Lucky for him, I guess, or maybe destiny. As they were sort of moving people in groups, he decided to go for to learn administration in army. So he learned administration in army, and he became an accountant. And he mastered the typewriter. It's not that long ago that I made a connection between my dad mastering a typewriter, and me mastering the computers. Almost. It's only recently that I made that connection. To pass the exam back in the day, on my dad time, you have to be blindfolded and then type a letter in a typewriter. That was sort of the passing exams. And my dad did it. And he was graduated, I think, the 4th promotion in the Congolese Belgium in administration back then. He did payroll in the army, and he was like a secretary in the area where he served his country. And all his life, he has never went to war. And he has never used an arm. Extraordinary that a man will go through the army training and all his life, he did not get to use a firearm. So while he was in the army, he met my uncle. And my uncle introduced him to my mother. My mother's name was Victorine Lusamba Kapanji Bantu. Kapanji Bantu, my mom is actually from Kasai, was from Kasai, because both of them are no longer with us. And Kapanji Bantu, I was saying, mean somebody who always bring people together. So they got married back then. And had 10 kids. So they actually, together, my mom and dad had 10 children. 2 are no longer with us, but 8 still living. Our first born was Jean Mahua. She passed. But I'm going to talk about our second born. He was called Jean-Pierre Funga Mukaba. And I'll be sharing the pictures on my website. I'll post some pictures there of my sister and my elder brother that I never got to meet. Because a few years after he was born, he was still, a toddler. Tragedy hit the family. And they lost him, so he passed away. But my dad loved him so much that he could not cope for losing his son. So a few years passed, and my sister Christine was born in 1965. And again, a few years passed, and I was born in 1969. But when I was born, because of what happened with my brother who passed, my dad did not want to have that connection with me because he did not know. He did not want what happened to my brother to happen to me. He could not connect with me at the same level that he connected with my brother. But when you see my mother's pictures, I look exactly like my mother. And I was my mommy's boy. Because of what happened to my brother, I was born untouchable. So you could not touch me. So I was born a spoiled kid. That's how I came into this world. I am told that when I was born, I did not want to eat cassava leaves or anything green. I only ate meat. So my dad had to actually have an agreement with a butcher to deliver meat. I remember my dad was an accountant in the army and a secretary. So he did not go hunting or fishing. Some people will be surprised to know that back then We had butchers that could deliver meat, and I only ate beef. So that's my story. That's me coming in this world. That's episode 1. That's my birth. And see you in episode 2, where I'll be sharing now what happened from Kananga, where I was born, or Luluabo back then, to Kindu, where my dad will be moved and to continue to serve his country, Congo Democratic. Until our next episode, thanks for listening to me, and thanks for watching me on YouTube. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe and share. As we continue, I have so much to share in the journey. Thank you. Until next time.